this for ages, but Daybreak's out of the map pool. That makes me really sad.
Yeah, not so much for me.
No, it makes I love this map with a passion.
Yes, it's a good map, but it's done its time. It's seen its good days, its bad days. It needs to be retired now.
Nope, this map could have stayed forever. As far as I was concerned.
Metalopolis, no.
No, it could have just stayed forever. It would have been lovely. It's so special. It's got a special place in my heart.
God, no. I've seen it enough now. I think it's time for new maps.
They should have just revamped it, kept it identical, but just like changed the look.
Oh, what? Reskinned it?
Yeah, just reskinned it.
I would have been happy.
Do a League of Legends on it.
I would have been happy with that. I would have been happy with
Do
that.
a League of Legends on it and charge everyone like $2 to download the new skin for it.
Oh god.
Seriously, if Blizzard are watching now, I'm gonna get like a job offer tomorrow and be like, we need you.
Oh
like,
my god, they could make maps and they could reskin them with like World of Warcraft themed, Diablo themed Daybreak, stuff like this.
Sell them with Blizzard points. That is totally how you could incorporate microtransactions into Starcraft 2.
That unit skins and stuff like that. Yeah, it's an idea, but Daybreak needs to be something different. Needs to be.
I thought I turned you.
Now.
I thought I turned you to a Daybreak lover.
No, I am a Daybreak lover. I do love it. It's just it's time for something new. It's time for something new, something a bit different.
Well, you at least agree that it should come back in the future.
Yes, yes,
like,
it should.
Have a season
well, no,
off.
exactly, yeah.
It can go on holiday.
Yeah, exactly. Maps should rotate. Just to add something a bit fresh, something a bit different. And, ooh, both players 15 hatching, so...
That's normal on this map. The rush distance is huge. You don't have to worry about things like Zerglings attacking you, because it is a big rush distance. Gas coming down actually first for Daz here, so that in turn itself means that he'll get a much earlier speed out than his opponent, and getting an earlier speed, earlier bailing nest, just puts him in a very similar position to game one.
Yep, and having that fast speed really is going to give him a bit more control of the map at the start. But with DazGaham taking his gas now, he'll probably go straight into... Well, do you think he'll go straight into bailing nest before speed?
You can do. There's two change of thoughts. If you think your opponent is going to be rushing you with Zerglings, then you definitely want to do that. So that's why the Overlord that Daz currently has flying into the main of DazGaham is so important. But when he sees that actually the gas is down, he'll look at how much is being mined. He'll know that obviously speed won't quite be ready to start yet and for quite a long period. That ultimately he's safe and should actually just get his own speed down first.
Oh, there you go. There's your knowledge. And yeah, that would be a good call, especially on this map, because it just limits how quickly you can get out on the map.
And I mean, the thing is, Bailings defensively are fine if you think that, because there is a build in ZBZ where you get down speed, you take your natural of 15, but you don't make any drones, you just flood lings, and with speed, it's incredibly potent. The only real way to stop it is if you or more Zerglings. So, in that respect, it's worthwhile. But if you scout it out from the gas count on the extractor that there isn't enough mined in order to get speed, then you know you're going to be ahead and you know you're going to be pretty safe. And that's why Daz is getting his bailing nest after he's got his own speed.
So both players just looking to drone up now, neither being too aggressive because of that large rush distance, as you said. And just for the sake of completionism, what do you think the mid-game is going to be? Muta versus Muta. Oh, okay, cool.
Well, you can get that. There's the option to go, say, Roach Hydra, but there's a real timing window for it, where actually it gets to the point where if your opponent goes Mutalisks, you've got a nice window of opportunity where you can still win. But if there's obviously a large number of Mutalisks out, 20-odd, the Hydras just can't get to places quickly enough to defend it before they just die.
And it makes holding that third base quite a lot harder. Yeah, that's why we see Muta versus Muta as the norm with that glaive splash. It just means pound for pound, a Muta army will beat a Hydra army.
It will, and that's a sad thing, and that's actually why they're looking to make some more changes to the way Muta plays out in ZVZ. They're trying to work out what they could do to make it a bit better.
Yeah, because I think the biggest problem with balancing StarCraft right now is simply making more builds viable rather than anything being particularly imbalanced.
Yeah, which is always going to be the way. It makes it more interesting to watch because ZVZ has become slightly stale with the fact that if you get to mid-game, you know it's going to be neutral Muta. But I think the thing that keeps ZVZ interesting for me is that the early game can be so exciting, so, well, absolutely swinging from one way to the other.
And as we are seeing these banelings doing a little bit of the Lings putting a little bit of pressure on the banelings, but he's just gonna retreat now out of there.
Right. As we can see, some Zerglings are running back now. This is a counter-attack coming in from .aGaham, and there's not really anything to defend this looking around. He's just got... all Daz has got is just a few more Zerglings on their way out, but the Zergling count actually still superior for .aGaham. The Queens could do a little bit of damage, but won't be enough to win this fight outright, and that's why .aGaham is going to go for it. He managed to clean up all of these Zerglings. If he gets both Queens,
he's going to get both Queens.
That's a massive win.
That is, and with the banelings coming in now, it's like, oh, you've got all these Lings out suddenly, and the banelings coming in just to doing a little bit of extra harm, not cost-efficient trades at all, but to be honest, he won that engagement so thoroughly that he could afford to be inefficient with those banelings.
And that inefficiency is fine because, as you quite rightly said, you've killed off 2 Queens, and that's 8 drones, or 8 lava every 40 seconds. That's huge. That is such a massive decrease in production available to Daz compared to .aGaham now, who is also trying to secure his third. Daz coming in with 4 Zerglings, that won't force a cancel. Ultimately, he's just in an incredible spot.
Yeah, he is. Both players' thirds going down at roughly the same time. .aGaham is slightly ahead, but Daz's Spire is slightly ahead. Nothing too major, but we are going to see this Muta versus Muta mid-game that is a common trend these days.
And ultimately, Muta on Muta is a really good strategy. Daz will get his Mutalist out sooner, but as we said, he's got... the work count is exactly equal, but his big issue was he missed a couple of injects, and that's why he's got so many less Zerglings on the field, and why, ultimately, this third base could be about to run into some bombs. The Baneling hits nearly go down, they were nearly huge, but ew, defends his Banelings 4 and 2, good trade there for Daz, but there's just so many Lings here for .aGaham.
Yeah, there are so many Lings that he can get this to nerf, and that is those Queens from being killed earlier coming back to bite him. No cancel on the hatchery as well, that's 300 minerals gone.
And it's not only those 300 minerals, it's the reduction in mining, it's the reduction of lava, and that's all big hits, and ultimately .aGaham will start pulling himself ahead. He's already taken a 9 drone lead, he's getting more Zerglings out. His Mutalist count is lower though, because he hasn't actually started any Mutas yet, just getting the Flyer Carapace and waiting for his next wave of lava before he starts production.
Yep, and here we go. It looks like Daz one poking at the third, seeing what damage he can do. Good surrounded by .aGaham, doing quite a bit of damage there to those Zerglings.
And this is now really where we get into a spot where it is just Muta on Muta yet again. But Muta on Muta isn't as simple as just moving into your opponent's army. It's all about the harassment, the Zergling counterattacks, and if there is a big battle, as we saw in Game 1, having a superior number of Zerglings underneath the Muta fight means that they soak up some of the bouncing glaive damage, and that really helps you get cost-effective trades because the upgrades are exactly, or pretty much equal, as we can see in terms of the timing, so there's no advantage getting gained there.
No, and the amount of times I've seen Muta versus Muta games where one player's neglected to continue making Zerglings and the other one puts pressure on, and they've just turned the game around and sniped hatcheries, sniped drones. And
that little bits of sniping really does make a difference because, as we saw already, Daz losing that third has lost him out on a lot of production, a lot of income, and that's what's going to hopefully, or at least for .aGaham's sake, get him ahead. He loses a Mutalist there, which he doesn't really want to do. You want to get good cost-effective trades, and in a chase down it never will work too well, but the ground army is superior for .aGaham yet again, and this is just all buying for map control.
Yeah, it is. .aGaham goes back to regroup with those other group of Mutalists. Looking at the Muta versus Muta count is 20 to 18 in Daz's favour, so Muta count is still just about equal here.
Just about, and the Muta count is going to be fairly equal from now on because both players are mining off 6 gas. They're both producing similar numbers of Mutalists, but it's the ground army that's where it's about to be a big difference, with 24 additional Zerglings being pumped out for .aGaham compared to Daz. That's going to give the option for counter pushes, and if that third goes down again, Daz will be in huge problems.
Yeah, and this engagement just occurring before the Lings come out. They're going to come in and help reinforce though, and those glaive bounces that they're going to be able to tank is just going to help .aGaham's Mutas survive so much longer. And here we go, seeing these two fight. We're watching the Muta count. It's dropping for Daz. He's down to 14. .aGaham's dropping down to 13, and both players equalising.
Both players equalising indeed, and as we can see, this is now just going to be a case of, well, who gets the better counter push. The +1 flyer attack starting slightly sooner for AGaham compared to Daz, but it's the big Ling push coming into the third that you've got to worry about. There's so many Zerglings flooding in here. 49 against 7. This third's going down, the Queen's going down, and with that, potentially Daz is going down.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you lose the gas mining on this third base, which is so crucial to keeping up your meter production. And actually, he's just taken out drones here. And it's just to pull those meters back in time, but here we go. Ling's pressuring into the natural now, and how many drones can these guys kill?
Well, I'm surprised he's focusing and prioritising drones, to be honest, because he could have knocked out that third quickly, but he's running the Mutalisks down there, and this is where the real damage is getting done. 20 workers killed. Before that, the push into the third only managed to kill 2 drones, but this is where the damage really starts to feel. 28 drones to Daz, to 63 to AGaham. He's getting monstrously ahead. He's got more workers. He's got +1 already over half done, and +1 not even started yet for Daz.
And this game is just another cautionary tale for Zerg players. When you go Muta, you cannot forget your Zerglings. You need those. Otherwise, this happens. He lost 20 drones in this natural alone. And
yep.
I mean, look at it. No one wants to see a natural base that empty. Muta versus Muta battle coming in here. More Zerglings in favour of AGaham, and they're just going to be able to tank that extra glaives. We're going to see Daz's Muta ball get progressively slower here.
Yep, it gets lower, and it really is a snowball effect that once you start gaining the count, it really goes well for you. And there, DazGG's out, and AGaham will take game number 2, taking the series to 2-2 in his favour. He wins, and that is good. So I think we've had some requests for what game we should cast next, by the way, Greedy Farmer.